Hey girl bosses and gamers, I'm about to check out of the hotel for the day. Before I do, I have a quick tip for you if you want to be able to survive your vacation in Japan. Look like you're homeless. I promise you no one will ever bother you. It's working great back home and it's working great here. Alright, here's the plan, girl bosses and gamers. I have decided I'm going to walk with my luggage the whole way. It should take about an hour to get there by train, and I still have 5 more hours to go until check-in time. So let's waste as much time as possible and see how long it takes before I give up. I walked from Honmachi Station to Nanba Station. Exhaustion deep in my bones and muscles aching, this building stood tall as it taunted me with a much quicker, more relaxing journey. But I pressed on southward. I even took a trip through a secret tunnel, but I had to be quick because it was a very popular high-traffic tunnel. It was at Tangachaya Station when I admitted defeat. It only took about 6 reminders until the message finally got into me that maybe I shouldn't be violent to the train staff here. I confess, navigating public transit has never been my best skill. But seeing as my first leg of the journey was on a train with minimal injury, loss of items, or deaths, maybe I might survive my second time around, so I got overconfident, and then I took the wrong train. Twice. Remember when I said I wanted to figure something out with Yamato luggage transport delivery? I didn't do that, so I did in fact carry everything with me on the train. But I found my way south eventually, and soon enough I was at Izumisano. Yo, I made it in one piece. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I kind of forgot to eat anything. I'm gonna go for food now. A lot of people, when they go on their trips to Japan, they think to themselves, by the way, sorry, I have a wallet chain going on. Not everyone, but some people think, oh, we need to go off the beaten path and stay off the tourist destinations and find hidden gems and find everything that's like completely hidden from the modern eye, from the tourist eye, and see what local, and like that's not a bad thing per se. I'm not one to discourage exploration and trying new things. Absolutely, I recommend it. But, like, don't fright yourself with having the most unique experience. Just go wherever you want to go. For example, I want to go through back alleys through Izumisano. The next restaurant on the list was Bunbuku. Going inside and seeing the hot plates at every table made me fear that I was expected to cook it, but thankfully that's not what happened. A kindly older lady and her adult daughter were presumably the owners and definitely chefs of this restaurant. It was served to my table par-cooked and then finished off on the hot plate, and I passed her the array of seasonings that lay to the side. Traditional okonomiyaki is made with pork, but I saw this had multiple different meat options, so I went for shrimp. And fellas, I just could not stop myself. This was so good. It was pretty mild in flavor overall, but it was very pleasant. It was tangy, it was savory. The mayo on top added a hint of like savory creaminess. I can't say words, I'm sorry. It looks good and it tasted good. I couldn't help but notice as I looked around the restaurant that this is someone's living room. Like, this whole building is their actual home. The kitchen they use to cook, that's probably their home kitchen. They probably live right upstairs. It reminds me of being a kid and going to grandma's house to eat. There aren't a whole lot of these kinds of restaurants, at least in my neck of the woods in the United States. So I try to encourage small business when I can. Bunbuku, done. And right before I left, I was blessed with a little birdie blocking my path, so of course I had to wait till he left, and then I stumbled into what I hope is a public shrine. The doors were open, but there was absolutely no one inside. I had visited a few shrines already, so I knew what to expect and what to do and the customs and the like, or at least a general overview of them. But in this specific shrine, I just could not shake the feeling that I was breaking and entering, like the presence of someone's car right there, and their bike, and there being actual legitimate houses. It just made me worry that I wandered into someone's private temple. There was a security camera posted in the corner, so I hope they don't track me down. But then I had this realization as I wandered around the temple. And that is, Japan is a rather high-trust country, or at least higher trust than what I'm used to. If this temple really was private, then the owners were clearly comfortable with having two gateways wide open. For example's sake, at the first hotel, I had ordered my luggage to be delivered from the airport to there. When I arrived, I noticed it wasn't there at all, so I asked if it had arrived yet. There was one suitcase behind the counter. They gestured to it. I shook my head no. They gestured to this area in the lounge full of stacked suitcases. It was right when we started looking through the pile. That was when a man in a Yamato delivery uniform showed up with one champagne-colored and one blue-colored suitcase. I just gestured to it and went, "Oh, there it is," like, "Yay!" And they were like, "Oh, there's your luggage." And he just handed it over. He didn't ask for ID or anything. All the public bathrooms, not a single door to be found. Okay, well, the stalls have doors, but when you go in, it is just an open entryway. This is a far cry from my home, where the increasing number of public bathrooms have locks on them now. Or how my day job at a craft store back home requires bag checks for employees. Like, yeah, of course there's security in Japan when needed, but for the most part, people just trust each other not to hurt one another. Feel free to say "okay, boomer" when I say this. In 2020's America, we trust what people just say in forums, in fear-mongering news comments, than the people that we talk to. With the endless cycle of fear-mongering, we're all just on the constant verge of fighting each other. Anyway, after my possible breaking and entering, I found this Indian Nepalese restaurant. For whatever reason, the lights stayed off, except for the bare essentials to actually see the menu. And the nice lady who served me surprised me with a mug of beer. I don't like beer, but I accepted and drank it anyway. And yes, it cost 600 yen. I ordered Kashmiri naan. Usually I prefer cheese garlic naan or even just plain naan, but I wanted to try something new. This had a fibrous sweetness that I just could not quite place until about halfway through when I realized it's coconut shreds in the middle. I'm not the biggest fan of coconut, but I still finished what I ate. What made it more enjoyable was that one of the owners called me pendejo after making eye contact with me. Then I was craving a lemonade, but I just could not find one in any of the vending machines, until I found one in a pachinko slot. Then I remembered the list, so I went over to Lone Star. I was not at all expecting to find Tex-Mex in Japan, so the fact that I found it online was a treat. I ordered the jalapeno poppers. These weren't as spicy as I prefer them to be, but that is very much a matter of opinion. I still enjoyed the meal, and I had a nice conversation with the owner/head chef. Lone Star, done. ZOMG, it looks like someone entered here already. It was me. Despite everything, it's still me. I actually am kind of liking that blonde part at the top that washed out so quickly. When I retouch it, I'm going to keep this at least. Anyway, here's my new hotel. Only for one night. Remember what I said about having to go all the way back down and all the way back up around the city? Here's why. Yeah, that's kind of it for the room. Hey, sorry about the noise. There is no way to turn off the AC. The good thing about having some hair loss and thinner hair is that it can actually hold a style now on its own. Like, I could just walk around like this and I know nothing's gonna happen. Maybe I can finally get that proper mohawk I've always wanted. Hey girl bosses and gamers, this is the last night I have to spend in hotels and the like. I'm gonna be on the train soon, all the way back up to approximately Honmachi Station, where I can finally get into my apartment. My first ever apartment. Before doing that was a very important trip to 100円ショップ Watsu izumisano ekiten. And it was a dollar store. Watsu done. Upon arriving to my new apartment, I couldn't even get through the front doors. It took to my third phone call to get English-speaking help. Turns out, I had to use a keypad in order to get in, but the combination was not working for the life of me. It just kept saying E2 over and over again instead of opening the doors, and the customer service lady was clearly upset with me. So I cried a bit. It's just sitting there. Menacingly. But in the end, I figured it out. Oh my god, this is for real. This is for real. This is my home. This is my home. For 3 months. I live here. Once I dropped off my stuff, I needed to buy a few household supplies, so I ventured over to the nearby mall, but there was also a kokoichi, which was on my list of places to visit. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of their menu setup with just having a whole bunch of iPads all over the place, but like, hey, if it works. Not my electricity bill to worry about. Now, if you don't eat pork, whether for preference, because you're vegetarian, for health reasons, halal, kosher, etc., I really want to emphasize, do not order the yasui kare, but order the beje kare. Yasui kare means vegetable curry, while beje kare means vegetarian curry. The distinction is the curry base that they use. Their default curry base uses pork, meaning that yasui kare has vegetables in their pork-based curry. But beje kare is specifically meant to be vegetarian. Now, I cannot attest for their risk of cross-contamination, so if they use the same porky supplies from one dish to another, I apologize. I can neither confirm nor deny. All I can attest for is how my dish tasted. This serving of beje kare with plain white rice was honestly pretty good. I feel like I probably should have requested maybe some vegetables or other toppings to go inside of it to at least add a little something, but as my starter, yeah, it was nice, it was spicy, it was warm. I ordered the level 1 spice, which wasn't really a physical pain sensation, it was more of like a warm sort of tingling that lingered in my lips and my mouth. But it wasn't unpleasant. And these pickled vegetables on the side, I wish I knew what they were, but they help to add some extra flavor and substance as well. This is definitely a place that I plan to return to, so I can try more curry customizations. Kokoichi, done. Hey, I'm back from shopping. I hope you don't mind if I get a little bit, sappy. At least for a bit. I honestly never thought, this would happen. I always hoped I would eventually move out of my parents' place. It only took me to the age of 25. And even then, I'm only staying here for a few months and then I'm moving right back in. But even this felt like too much to ask for. Just a place for just me that I can reasonably afford. This still felt like it was too much. I currently have the barest amenities in order to just get by, trying to think of what can I reasonably take home, what do I need to stay behind. I'm hoping I can take my new pan with me. If not, that's okay. This bathroom took a little bit getting used to. Just don't worry about the fact that the toilet water leads to the sink water leads to the shower water. Just don't worry about it, it's recycling. But more importantly, this part. Cold water nozzle. It's currently set to shower bite right now, and I'm filling the tub. Cold water. Hot water. That's how that works, right? Well, no, I filled it up a good portion, and it was already, still really, really, really cold. No. You know what actually makes the water hot for the shower? This. Okay, wish me luck. The entryway has, no temperature insulation. I remember my my second Japanese teacher in high school, she said that I believe these are either dried anchovies or dried sardines. Basically, foreigners always hate them, and that she even gave us extra credit for eating some. I don't know about you, but I think these are great. Don't worry, I also made sure to embarrass myself no less than 50 million times while trying to figure out a self-checkout in a supermarket. So I'm treating myself to some Meiji chocolate also.